Guys, I still can't get over that opening sequence. As you can tell, it says
John
Are we live? In a little bit of a zen mode, and he loses out, but he's here now with us. Guys, welcome to Legends of Tomorrow After Show here at theStreamtv in Los Angeles, California. It's been a lovely day, hasn't it, John?
No, not bad,
Not too bad. It's just got topped up pretty nicely, though, because this episode, part 2 of the premiere, was definitely the cherry on top of the cake for my day. I don't know about you, John.
I think you got what you wanted. Remember last week, Jack was saying, I want a little bit more action. We got something. Let's jump right in. Let's not wait.
Before, we're going to have to wait real quick.
Come on, man.
We've got to show our love to our family and our DC, our legendaries out there. So first things first, obviously, guys, as you know, we're trying to create our community here, our big DC community. So please make sure you go and follow our Facebook group. There it is right there. We look awesome, dude. I love that photo of us.
That's not
guys,
bad,
it's the DC Legends of Tomorrow After Show - Legends family. Why? Because we are family. We are family.
That's not how the song goes. It goes, we are family.
I did that last night on Arrow. I did it on Arrow, so it was funny that now you do it on this one. Guys, and of course, don't forget to go and follow Lance's group as well, our creator and admin of our Facebook group. But this is the DC Legends of Tomorrow discussing the TV show. Guys, as you can tell, this has already hit almost 7,000 followers, and we're 2 episodes in. This is your #1 community to talk everything Legends. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Bam Smack Pow. Thank you, comicbook.com, for everything that you guys do in aiding us in building our community.
Thank you, guys.
John, like you said, more action.
That
is what we got today. That is what I wanted, like you said. That is really what I wanted.
They didn't waste any time, did they? They went right into it.
What is it, like, literally a minute into the episode, and now we get them right now when Mick Rory has. What a great way of like the villainous organisation. The way their bidding wars work is that instead of raising your paddle to bid for something, you shoot your gun in the air.
And how about Damien Dark making an appearance in this episode? Pretty cool, right?
Guys, we've got to give a shout out to Dark there because, of course, over on the Arrow, we know how much we love Dark over on Arrow, and now he's over in DC Legends of Tomorrow. But that begs the question: how many more characters we're going to get from Arrow? How many more characters we're going to get from the Flash? And how many more characters are we going to see from Legends go to the Flash and Arrow?
I think quite a few, especially Legends of Tomorrow is almost a forum to see the genesis of these characters. We're seeing where Vandal Savage came from. I think we're going to see more of where Damien Dark came from. One thing that I find pretty funny is Damien Dark, who's played by Neil McDonough.
Yep.
He was in that movie Minority Report where they predict the future
with Tom
stuff.
Cruise.
With Tom Cruise. And now he's in a time-traveling show. So I feel like that's kind of cool that it came together like that.
I haven't done Minority Report in about 7 years because
it's a good one. That's one of Spielberg's best.
I had to do it for like my high school media report, and I had to do Minority Reports. It's funny that you bring that up.
It's one of Spielberg's best. It's one
but
of Spielberg's
obviously, we saw an absolutely incredible fight scene in the villains convention, I kind of want to call it, in their little bidding war. And how easy was it for Professor Stein to lose his cool?
That was, you know what, I think we saw right away, because in the beginning we're like, who's the leader? Who's the alpha male? There's a lot of different cooks in the kitchen, as we were saying as we were watching this episode. And then Professor Stein comes in like a boss and be like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
You know who I am? I was in Titanic and Argo, man. So let us into this place. That's what he was saying. And I was like, that's when I was like, all right. Even Captain Cold was just like, all right, let's let him do his thing.
He did, didn't he?
No,
it was very funny to me because obviously we've been following Martin Stein on The Flash, and he seems a very down-to-earth kind of gentleman. I've never seen him as arrogant, and I guess that kind of passed over me because he is so smart to back up that arrogance. But the beginning of this episode was a very different light shed on Martin Stein, in my opinion.
Absolutely. We started to see, because he's almost been a bit of a mystery up to this point. You know, we know him, you know, as this guy who he was with Ronnie Virgin in the Firestorm, and now he's with Jax, and now it's like, who really is this guy? And we're seeing this guy really is like a manly man, you know, and he's got a past.
The way they're helping each other massively right now. They're really, like, as we saw in the first episode, it was Jax kind of going against Stein a little bit, and Jax being very, very hard-headed as he is, hence why he's Jax Jefferson. But we saw Martin Stein try and cool him down a little bit, like that pun he waved.
I saw that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But second of all, now in this episode, we got the other opposite versions. Obviously, we'll get back into that when Martin Stein meets his younger Stein. But a very important part of this episode, which was a big pivotal part for the first half, was when Atom loses a part of his suit in the fight.
Yes.
Could you really imagine that? Someone in 1975 collecting the power of a tech billionaire from 2016. Imagine the mayhem that can pursue after that.
Well, that's like if we went back to 1975 and dropped like an iPod. You know, what would that do?
Everyone
I mean,
would look
it really
like,
is. No, they'd be like, wait a minute.
But an iPod can't destroy the world.
You never know. You know, it's
Well,
like, it's like the
that's
whole.
true.
If you want to talk about the whole butterfly effect thing, I mean, you step on an ant in 1975, you know, which these
And
guys.
you ruined Japan in
The
2022.
internet's never invented. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
These guys got to be very careful. And I think the interesting thing is they still have one foot out the door. They're still not sure. They're not really sold on this Rip Hunter guy.
Yeah.
And as we were watching this, I really wasn't either. I'm really wondering. All he's doing is complaining.
Okay, so now
Yeah.
I have a very different point of view
Yeah.
to you on Rip Hunter. I thought Rip Hunter in this episode was actually really annoyed. Like, I thought he wasn't too happy with the team. They were very much so going against him. They didn't want to do anything that he was trying to tell them to do, because we've got to remember here, what's his name? Rip Hunter. Sorry, I was completely blank just there. Rip Hunter is the time guy. He knows what time travel is. He's been through it. He's been working with it. These guys all got a little trigger happy, in my opinion. The gang got really trigger happy. Martin Stein got way too excited about going to see his former self and being his brilliant former self. Sarah was way too excited to smoke pot, which kind of made me laugh. But real quick shout out again to the costume and set designers. Again, you crushed it. I absolutely loved Jax's shirt that he was wearing.
Sure.
Beautiful.
I got that. You got that at home, don't you?
But like, what, Jackson's shirt?
I've seen.
No, I've
seen
actually got a bright silver one though, just because I love my 80s, and you just got to go. Love me 80s, love me 70s, and you just got to.
That's
rock.
good that you love your
gotta
80s,
rock
'cause
the
we're-
funk. Well, we'll be getting there at
Yeah,
some
we'll
point.
get there at some point for sure.
But a real pivotal part that stood out to me in this was the blossoming of Hawk Girls and Hawk Guy. Idiot. Hawk
There's so
Man's
much excitement in this
relationship.
episode that see what you did, DC and CW.
You're making me say Hawk Guy.
This is how awesome this episode was, that Jack can't even get his comic book characters right. But I can't either, because this episode was that awesome.
As Gideon would say, I'm not familiar with this American slang. Does whoops mean oh? I was like, thank you, Gideon. I love Gideon. Real quick, somebody pointed this out last episode for us on the YouTube comments. How did Rip Hunter obtain Gideon? Because obviously in the Flash, Eobard Thawne has him. So do we think that Rip Hunter has Gideon first and Eobard has stolen Gideon from Rip Hunter? Or do we think vice versa?
I think it could go either way, and I think that'll reveal itself probably by, maybe episode 5 or 6.
And that's why I'm starting to think that there's possibly going to be some kind of interaction between the two shows, because Gideon at the moment, obviously besides the characters, is a very common denominator. And Gideon at the moment has been playing quite an important part in the Flash. So hopefully we're going to see a crossover in the upcoming episodes, but I haven't heard anything about it yet. Guys, if you saw the article I posted in our group that I can't remember the guy's name, Eric Goldman, I believe it was, at IGN, I just see it there, did an article with Atom, and he mentions that we don't know what's coming in the future. So because he didn't say no, I like to stay positive, I like to keep my mind up there. But now we've got to move on to young Stein.
So they go to Easter egg alert, they go to Ivytown University. So fun fact for the DC fans out there, Ivytown is the home of the Silver Age Ray Palmer, otherwise known as the Atom. And that actually debuted in Showcase number 34. Showcase is actually where Rip Hunter debuted as well, so I think that's pretty cool how that tied together.
They are doing good at that, aren't they?
Well, they got...
So can we just point out how many Back to the Future references we had with young Stein?
We're going to get there.
Are we going to get there?
Let's get there right now.
Yeah, let's go to it.
Now or then. How about then? Are we past then?
No, we can go back to it.
We're actually in now, so we should do it soon.
We should design this set so that it looks like the Wave Rider.
That would be pretty cool.
Right? And we should get like the seats with the straps in them and everything.
I think by the mid-season break, we'll have that all going. But
fingers crossed. Don't keep that as a promise, but we're going to have that fingers crossed. But yes, young Martin Stein.
And he calls himself Marty, like Marty McFly.
Well, what did we, what was it something that Rip Hunter said before, which really resembled Doc Brown?
He's like, it could be disastrous,
No, was it disastrous? Was that the word that he used?
He really warned them. I mean, it was in a nutshell, he's saying, I'm warning you guys, this is not what you want to do. And it's just, you're breaking all the rules of time travel.
They were like kids in candy shops, weren't they?
Yeah.
They lost it. As soon as they thought about time travel, they really were just like, yeah, let's go and have some fun.
I don't think they're realizing what's really at stake when you're traveling through time as well. So as the episode went on, they start to realize this is very, very real.
And of course, at the end of the episode, with Martin Stein losing his wife, but then fortunately gaining it again, we saw that that is where it happened.
And also, it's like the golden rule is you don't run into your younger self or older self.
Everyone knows that.
When you time travel.
Don't do it.
You don't do it.
Why don't you just well, I guess he had to, the only way he could talk to himself was because he literally is the only one smart enough to go and talk to himself. So nobody else would have been able to relate to him.
It becomes like a bit of a catch-22 almost. But I love the Back to the Future reference. One, he refers to himself as Marty, so
100%.
reminiscent of Marty McFly. And then older Martin Stein says, I'm Elon Musk. So as we all know, Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla Motors, among many other things. But in Back to the Future 3, remember Marty McFly's like, oh, I'm Clint Eastwood. You know, so they're both referencing famous names that they haven't heard of yet. I thought that had to be by design. If not, that's a very great Back to the Future coincidence.
No, you know the writers are too clever for that. You know the writers.
I'm just thinking, whoa, this is heavy.
Whoa. That's literally what he did there. It was like, it's Back to the Future. I was like, God, it seems to be every episode now. I feel like they're going to try and drop something. And so we had Star Wars.
So I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt today.
Right.
I guess.
If only you had a Back to the Future shirt.
I do have one. I'll probably wear it next week. I'm going to wear it next week.
Got it. Okay, so we know John's attire is now going to be resembling the week before's episode. So we're going to have to start going shopping for you.
I'm waiting for Cisco to show up because Cisco on Flash, not to divert away from Legends of Tomorrow too much, he's going to come in at some point, I feel like, later on and be like, you know, time travel is like a big no-no.
Real quick, whilst we're speaking about people coming in, what did we hear in the news today? I don't know if you guys read it at home. I believe it got posted in our 2 groups that I mentioned at the beginning. But Green Arrow is going to be making an appearance in episode 6. And they've done all the DC fans a huge favour and given him what? A goatee. And taken away what? His left arm. So we're getting the original Arrow, and I believe it's 30 years later, 2046.
We're seeing the Green Arrow as we really knew him in the comic books and in the Justice League animations. Yeah. We're going to see that incarnation I've been waiting for that. I've actually been waiting for that kind of image of Oliver Queen.
A lot of people bringing up as well, who else do you think we'd see? And a lot of people were saying, I got a few messages and Twitter stuff saying that possibly we'll see Bart Allen as the Flash.
I'm thinking that.
My suggestion, because they're going 30 years into the future, I have a feeling that they could possibly see Barry and Iris's children.
I'm
and
thinking
I think
that
they
too.
may be the people that they run into.
I'm also thinking we may not have seen the last of Patty. I know that there are a lot of people out there that didn't like Patty, but she becomes hot pursuit in the New 52 storyline, and she also teams up with Kid Flash. I don't think we've seen the last of her. We may get a nod to her later on.
The only reason I do say that we may have seen the last of her, trust me, for you, if you watch the Flash After Show, you know I'm a huge Patty fan. I really love Patty Spivot and Chantel. I think she was absolutely incredible. But unfortunately, if you guys saw her Instagram post, it was a little paragraph about how she'd had such a great time with the team. Unfortunately, she's fallen in love with this character, but now she won't be playing it anymore. I agree with you, and I have my fingers crossed that she will be coming back. But so far, it seems as if she's not coming back.
That's just like Glenn being dead on Walking Dead, so I don't buy it. I don't think we've seen the last of her.
Hey, you could have just spoiled that for a lot of people.
Yeah,
so I hope he didn't. So
the good thing this is a Legends of Tomorrow After Show. So let's keep on going with this show. So at Ivy Town University, meet the young Martin Stein, and then also Leonard Snart and
Ray Palmer.
Ray Palmer. They're kind of butting heads a little bit.
But at the same time, they help themselves a little bit.
Little on, they learn from each other. And going back to our theme from last episode, we were talking about, they're with their opposites, and they realize you have qualities that I might need, and vice versa. And slowly, they're starting to warm up to each other.
And as a big Captain Cold fan myself, it was really nice to have that little backstory about him when he was checking the vases to see how he could get out of and disarm the security system. It was nice to hear Captain Cold give that little backstory about how his father used to take him on all the missions, and he had the little hands and stuff like that. I'm a big Captain Cold fan, so props to the writers for throwing that in there. And Wentworth Miller, high five to you all the time. But Ray Palmer, how did you feel about him this episode without his suit? Because we saw Ray the Atom just being Ray.
I think that's great because I feel like a lot of people are defining Ray Palmer as only the Atom, and Ray Palmer is one of those people. Who am I without the suit? And now he's realizing I can actually help. I mean, when Captain Cold was like, I guess you're not completely useless after all. And that was validation for Ray, like, yeah, maybe I'm not. I think he needed to hear that.
And that was kind of their butting heads now, cuddling heads instead. That was when they kind of came to a truce a little bit.
Which also brings us to Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and the way that Hawkgirl is so resistant to her destiny, and Hawkman is saying, no, this is what it is. This is what we do in every lifetime.
Do you want to know how... Sorry, I cut you off. Please, finish what you were about to say.
But, I love that conversation they have that, she's saying, you're talking about fate. It's more like probability. It's not like we're meant to do it. It's just, that's just what happens. We can't do it just because that's what it is.
Do you want to know what I feel may have quite a big impact on Hawkgirl? Also, the era that she's growing up in right now. Obviously, previously, when they've been reincarnated before, our generation that we're in right now, that was probably really alien to Kendra. Not Hawkgirl, but Kendra Saunders. She was probably like, whoa, I'm like 25 years old, like, I don't want to go fall in love right now. 5 weeks ago, I was like a coffee barista, and now I'm an Egyptian priestess. So I'm sure for her, in this generation that we're living in, is really holding her back. But as we saw, she did led into it, and finally, before we get there, I'm going to quickly talk about the capture that Vandal Savage made on the Atom and on Captain Cold. I really thought Heatwave was going to kind of surprise Vandal a little bit, because obviously we see it there, we see him pointing the gun at the two of them, and I really thought Heatwave was eventually going to come out and actually damage Vandal Savage, but unfortunately, he caught him before. And what are the chances that it happened to be his mansion? Did you have any inkling? Did you think that might have been a little coincidence, quinky-dinky?
Not to toot my own horn, but a little bit, because only bad supervillains display their things in like display cases.
Just wondering.
You know, Lex Luthor would do it.
Yes,
you know,
100%.
and I'm like, this has to be some
The
bad
Joker
guy's
has
mansion.
heads in cases everywhere,
yeah,
mounted
like,
on walls.
It's like, this can't just be some random house. So I am glad that it is Vandal Savage's house, and that's the way that ties
He's
together.
rocking it, though, back in the day as well. 1975, clearly Vandal Savage is rolling in the cash. But what I do want to say is, was there any Easter eggs there in the cases that he had? Because I have a feeling that Vandal was pretty much protecting the things that can harm him or get in the way of his future. So I have a feeling that's why he obviously has the knife. So do you think any of those other ornaments could have been pivotal for Vandal Savage's future, and that's why he had them?
Looked that way. He's so closely tied to Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I saw the mace in one of the cases.
Yes.
They're known to use the mace. One of the helmets,
It was almost Roman, wasn't it? That
yeah,
helmet?
I thought at first it was maybe Dr. Fate's helmet, and I was like, whoa, and then I saw it was open face, so then the excitement went down, but because I'm a huge Dr. Fate fan, I'm hoping sometime we'll see him.
You'd like to see him in it?
I would, but the mace, so a lot of those things, it's all tied to Hawkman and Hawkgirl in some way, shape, or form.
And their stories and their lifetimes together.
And you're also talking about a guy who's been around since the Genghis Khan days and everything, so he's got to have
Jack
quite a
the
collection
Ripper,
going
Genghis
on.
Khan, he's done a lot, hasn't he? I'd love to pick his brains. When you sit down with Vandal Savage and just be like, right, Vandal, let's get facts straight in the world, okay? But one thing we do have to real talk about is Hawkgirl finally reading the poem and working it out on her knife. Guys, I tried to write it down real quickly, but I couldn't get it. But I know it starts with, although my soul may leave this earth, and then it carried on. So if any of you guys could catch it or research it or find out what the poem was, please post it in the comments below or tweet me to it. I'm going to go research it afterwards and hopefully find it as well.
Major bonus points if you can do it.
Major bonus
First person
points.
to be able to bring it to us, we'll give you a shout out on the show. How about that?
Hey,
that's a good
you can tweet it. If you can tweet me, direct message me, YouTube comment me right now, game on. We've got you guys.
That's a good way to do it. I would do it if I could.
But I'm on the show right now. They got me so excited in this. I was like, yes, they figured it out. Like, oh my God, the Legend of Tomorrow is pretty much done. They're about to go kill Vandal Savage.
And to be able to live in that time and when giving a knife to a woman would be romantic, I mean, what a great time.
How
to
funny
be in.
was that?
But that is, but what a really cool symbol of like their love. He's like, this is me saying, I got you, and like I'm not going to leave you. And the knife also can be used as a weapon to protect yourself, but it's also just a symbol of their love for each other.
And like, what did you say? It was like a promise ring. But
it's like a promise ring. It's like a promise ring. It's like a promise ring in the form of a knife. Yeah, for sure.
Right, guys. As you knew last week, if you watched with us, if not, welcome, of course. We tried to have our admin of one of our Facebook pages, Arnold, join us, and we've got him this week, and we are 100% positive that Arnold is going to be able to join us. So, guys who are watching, please welcome Arnold.
Arnold. Arnold.
What's going on? How's everybody
there he's here. It's working.
doing? Hey.
How are you, buddy? It's good to see you. It's good to get you here this time.
Good, yeah, definitely.
Right, Arnold, the love dagger. How did you feel about it? What were your thoughts? Did you know that Carter wasn't going to be able to use it, or did you think that Carter had finally put the first end to Vandal Savage?
I obviously, because we know that there's more episodes, I'm like, this couldn't have been it because we've got more to go. But I thought it was interesting, but then also made sense that it would be Kendra since Carter was the one that gave it to her, with the whole, if you go with the whole love give things power, it would make sense that she have to be the one to use it, being the priestess and being the only one who can read it. But it was a nice twist. And it does make sense that it would work with her only.
And it raises the stakes too, doesn't it? Because now it makes them actually care because they lost one of their own. So I think that's a great way to tie the group together, right?
And go on, Arnold.
Yeah, and I think with Kendra too, knowing that she is the one that has to do it, I think it's going to help her embrace her past lives and what her mission is, and rivalry that they had with Vandal to accept it a bit more, and especially adding Carter dying on top of that. So I think it's going to be a big push for Kendra.
We saw at the end when Kendra got taken back to the time-traveling ship and was laying down in the medical bay, and she pretty much kind of woke up in in a big panic, didn't she? And she was saying, I never got to tell him, I never got to explain to him how that I finally realised that that is how we feel, that I really do love him, that we are really meant to be together. So like you say, it's definitely opened up her eyes. But now the hunt for the reincarnation. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that with time travel, it opens so many doors. Are they gonna find, you know, is there any other you that reincarnate later? Are they gonna find one from the past? I mean, we know we've got to see him again. So I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with that and which Carter we're gonna end up, or see how he comes back.
You know what I think is cool about that, because I believe they will find another reincarnation of Carter. Now the shoe will be on the other foot. Kendra's gonna have to maybe educate him. And now she's going to kind of see what the other side was like. And I think that's going to be really cool, because now she's going to see both sides, and then they can really embrace what they're all about.
Right. That's one of the things I'm most excited for as well, to see Kendra in the reverse kind of role now, and to really feel that pain and understand of how it is to find herself. But as you mentioned earlier, the team are now coming together. We saw in this episode, we saw in part 2 of this episode, that they kind of started strong. They were like really gunning for it. Lost their momentum a little bit again, but now they are really, like you said, with the death of Carter, even Captain Cold says, if it's one of my team, you're going down. Like, you are mine, I will end you. So now we're even seeing the villains, who, by the way, real quick, when Arthur Darvill, the guy who plays Rip Hunter, says, right, we're going to need to steal something, and Captain Cold just rips it out of his hands and goes, yep, I got this. I was like, that's absolutely perfect for Captain Cold. But now we see the team coming together.
And not only that, they're accepting Rip Hunter as their leader.
That was where I was going through next. And now we've killed the alpha.
We read each other's
kind.
minds, man.
That's why we're here together.
That's why we're here.
I just love you,
Up
John.
top,
and
man.
you, Arnold. Air high five to you, brother.
Air
Thanks
five,
for joining
Arnold.
us
Air five.
again. But like John just mentioned, now Rip is, they've accepted him. They've realised the consequences with Martin Stein, and with Rip doing such a wonderful thing for Stein, and getting in touch with the younger Stein and making sure that he attends. And what was the board that they were going to? He was meant to go there because he was going to meet.
It was a faculty mixer.
Faculty mixer, that was it. And obviously he meets one of the other professors whose niece.
That's another Back to the Future thing. His ring faded away. Remember the photo in Back to the Future? How it fades away.
Fades away. You're right.
It happens in threes, man. The Elon Musk, the Marty, and then
the ring fading away.
What did you think of that, Arnold? The Back to the Future references. Are you a fan of Back to the Future by chance?
Oh yeah. Well, there's even more. Making sure the character gets to the dance to meet the girl.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true. And never even put that one together in it as well. Him actually getting to the dance is so important for
it's like
Arnold.
That's their enchantment under the sea dance. And I think also something we should all keep an eye on is the little study area on the Wave Rider, because that's almost like the Batcave where you see all these artifacts collected.
Yes.
And I swear I see the Green Lantern's lantern back there. It was in soft focus the whole time, but I think everybody should keep an eye out on Rip Hunter's study on the Wave Rider, because Arnold, what do you think? Because that's known in the comics as like his.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I think so, right?
That's going to be his trophy room kind of thing.
Yeah,
parts that he's collected over time.
So everybody out there, keep your eye out whenever they go to study.
You thought you saw the Green Lantern's lantern?
I swear I saw the Green Lantern's lantern. I can't.
We're not promising it, but it looked like it was possibly there sat in his room. So like John says, keep your eyes out, because we might be spotting Easter eggs that John can't catch everything. I mean, I trust him to catch everything, but things slip through the cracks.
It also was in soft focus in my defense, so that's why I won't confirm it just yet. But everybody out there in Twitterland and Facebook, YouTube, keep your eyes out for Rip Hunter study. Arnold, you too. I mean, I know you got your eyes out for it too, and just let us know, and then we'll talk about it.
Sure.
Right, Arnold, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining us today. I'm so glad this one worked. We made up for last week, so thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. I know it's like almost 10 o'clock in the evening for you, so go get your beauty sleep, buddy.
I like your collection you got behind you, too, man. I mean...
You can see that?
Oh, yeah.
You have great eyes.
Man, that's just a piece of it.
You got a bunch of Easter eggs back there, man.
It's a bunch of Easter. Hey, we're coming up to Easter, so if anyone wants to send us Easter eggs, go right ahead. I love them with chocolate.
Arnold, thank you, man. We'll see you again soon.
Have a good one, brother.
Thanks for having me, guys. See you again.
Live long and prosper.
People say I look like Spock sometimes. I have a certain blue jumper. I'll wear it on the show sometime. You guys can all make fun of me. It's fun. I've got the ears for it and everything.
I would say that that's fascinating.
Guys, we're going to toss it to a quick commercial break. Of course, as always, thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with some live Twitter shout-outs, live questions, YouTube chat. We're going to be coming at you from theStream.tv. See you in a second, guys.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live.
Oh, you'd want to take the time travel the whole way back.
How did we not figure that out?
We had a crazy vampire threesome.
And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like, how did you get here? No. Look at me, I'm dancing.
You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is quite something.
And we're like, inseparable. She was shadier than Sunglass Hut with Ray-Bans on sale, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it wasn't. So come on.
You just went to a totally different direction on that.
When a billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
I found her to be deliciously out of control.
Oh man, looking forward to this fight.
Ooh, they about to get together. Watch, it's about to go down.
Somebody better take some pictures of this.
She just slapped the crap out of Nick.
And he's just
It's so good.
You can't count anything out. Look at you. It's been another awesome night at theStream.tv,
It's always
guys.
awesome.
Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Yes.
We love you.
In 4, 3, ampersand, #0. Well, we're back.
Hey guys, welcome back to theStream.tv. Thanks for taking that little break with us, going to the restroom, go get yourself a cup of coffee, whatever it is that you just did. Right now, well, I'm going to throw it over to John, who's got a few live Twitter questions. John, take it away, my man.
We've got a Twitter question from @TheGuyFlash. So,
good
the
name,
Guy
man.
Flash wants to know, did you guys notice the Dr. Fate helmet in the display case? It's funny we brought that up, and I don't know if that is, I mean, I want to think that is Dr. Fate's helmet.
It could be an older version.
It could be an older version. I did notice that, and I very much geeked out at it. Time will tell if that really is Dr. Fate's helmet, because I know that Dr. Fate's coming. We don't know when, we don't know how, but it's coming.
You
And
think
I
it's
can't wait.
coming?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%?
With all this stuff going on, and Vandal Savage is so tied to the Justice League, as is Dr. Fate, 2 Hawkman, Hawkgirl. It's all coming, so good catch,
Keep
the
your
Guy
eyes
Flash.
out for them Easter eggs.
Keep
'cause
'em up.
There's way too many in
So
this
good
show.
catch, the Guy Flash. Thank you for your question, and very, very good eye. And let's move on. Next question, we got @Indigo_15.
What up,
wants
Brandon?
to know.
His name's Brandon Moore. He's a cool guy.
What's his
Talks to
name?
me. Brandon.
Brandon.
What's up, Brandon?
Well, thank you for your question.
Thanks, buddy.
Brandon wants to know, will the Legends go into the past and have one of Carter's past incarnations rather, join the team? I think so.
You know what I think on this one? So if we haven't noticed in the episode so far, it seems like the gang breaks up into littler gangs, and they all kind of go off on their own little things. So we saw Stein, Jax, and Sara in this one have to go find young Stein. We saw Captain Cold, Ray, and Heatwave. They had to go do their thing. Rip, like you said, pretty much bounced this episode, but I think that was because he was throwing a bit of a hissy fit because no one was listening to him. And we, last but not least, we saw Hawkgirl and Hawkman doing their business. So I have a feeling they're going to break into a team again, their own little teams, not those specifically ones, they change it up. And then someone's going to go with Hawkgirl to find the new reincarnation of Carter. That's my own personal opinion, but guys, we want to know what you think, so let us know on the YouTube chat, Twitter shoutouts, everything like that. Are we all good on them Twitter shoutouts?
We are good on those.
I've got a couple of live YouTube ones that now aren't loading, obviously, because that's just YouTube for you, but I also
That
have
Wi-Fi, man.
a couple, that Wi-Fi, man. Sort it out, the stream where the Wi-Fi, no, I'm just playing with you, I'm not on it. And another one from the Guy Flash. However, this is a good question. Thank you, buddy. Legends of Tomorrow AS. Guys, just to let you know, I'm just going to put this out there right now. Guy Flash, this is for you as well. We're trying to make it easier because obviously you can only get 140 characters in a tweet, so we're using LOTAS. Legends of Tomorrow After Show. Oh, thank you very much, guys,
that.
in the box. It popped it up right below me.
That
Guys,
is
use
magic.
that just so that it obviously keeps the tweets a lot shorter so that you guys can get more in. So, from Austin at the Guy Flash. I know Atom isn't a master thief, but how did he not notice it was a dummy box alarm? I agree, because he also stated, this is my mother and father had the exact same security system. Surely he would have known that that was a dummy box alarm.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that, but remember, he comes from a very privileged household, so maybe all he knows is what that is, and that's all he knew. And it's people like Leonard Snart who, you know, would be thieves. They're the ones that are supposed to know that. So I can buy that.
That's fair. And like you said, we got to see the intelligence of Captain Cold and how he proves him wrong, and then that kind of put Ray in his place a little bit.
It's the book smart versus street smart sort of thing, and you know, them pulling from each other.
And like you say, that's perfect. That's perfect sense, isn't it? He is book smart. Ray's a technological genius. God, I get so excited. I just mix up my words. And obviously we have Leonard Snart, who's our street criminal genius mastermind. Wentworth Miller, absolute lad. Guys, I just saw this question on the live YouTube shout out. So guys, keep tweeting on this. It works. I'm reading you guys now. Aaron Saunders, #Lotus. We got to see Ray and Captain Cold are becoming friends. What other weird relationships do you think we will see happen throughout the show? Absolutely brilliant question, Aaron. I really appreciate that question because... Go right ahead. I thought I'm going to take this one. I thought Captain Cold and Sarah were going to have a little bit of a romance blossoming, possibly.
I think a lot of people thought that too, but I think her and Heatwave, I wouldn't be surprised if those two have something going.
Interesting.
Because we're talking about odd couples here. How much odder can you get than those two? And I feel like that would be a very interesting dynamic, and I think it might work. Because she's a very rough and tough girl, and he's
the same thing?
Yeah, and I don't know if it would last.
I think and broad won't work, though. That's the only reason why I like Leonard Snart, because Leonard Snart's very cheeky. Leonard Snart's very, like, just is a lot more clever than Mick Rory, and I think them two might butt heads, Sarah and Mick Rory.
It may come around to that, though. It may come around that, you know, there could be a little love triangle action going. Maybe it's not just two people. Maybe
and they fight themselves.
You never know. I
Guys, make sure you constantly let us know what you lot are thinking. We want to know, who do you want to see? Who do we want to start shipping? I'm not going to lie, I'm not a huge fan of that word, but I'm going to start using it just because it makes the most sense. But that's gonna tie our show up for today, guys. Thank you again for Arnold for joining us. For John, myself, everybody here at theStream.tv, have a lovely weekend.
Oh, and tune in February 1st for my new show, Nerd Talk, right here on theStream.tv.
Guys, remember to follow that. Say it once more time.
Nerd Talk, right here on theStream.tv. We're going to debut on February 1st, 8 p.m.
I'm totally going to try and sneak in and do a couple cameos of dressed up in funny different outfits just for the hell of it.
You're talking about Easter eggs. You'll be the literal Easter egg.
I will literally, I'm going to walk on as an Easter egg and John's going to unwrap me. It's going to be brilliant. Guys, thanks again. Have a nice evening. Pleasure to you all. Have a good night, guys.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Bye.
In 3...